Technology completely changed our way of life, work, socializing, and many other things. It is technology that has been advanced day by day in a huge way that even fitness. Lifestyle has been changed, making life more easy for those of us who live on planet Earth. From the point of view that it makes the quality of life better to the point where it made the human being less independent. So like most things in this life, it has its pros and cons. The electronic devices are means by the which use electrical energy to process information, either generate another type of energy. Technology has existed for many years. The first technological revolution occurred about 10,000 years ago in Neolithic prehistory, when humans were sedentary and invented agricultural artifacts. Then the communication was invented, and so they evolved around 1950s to the first radio broadcast was made. In 1970, they invented the computer, and thanks to this invention, the term information technology was born, which is generally what we know as cell phones, computer, printers, faxes, televisions, among many other things. But the question is, does technology really help or affect us? Let's start by seeing from back. Our grandparents or parents in their youth, they experienced the war, went out to play, they obeyed their parents, they did the chores of their houses, they were centered people, and many more things. This is where I wonder what makes the technology so bad. Did you know that 55% of children between the age of 8 and 18 have access to a cell phone? Yes, a child who doesn't know in any future can affect him. Children are made every time more passionate about mobile technology. Since parents use it to reassure them so what don't cry, they are beginning to become dependent on this. The frequency of internet access is also very high. More than 70% of all children who access the internet through their mobile phone do so at least once a day. Think about how bad it makes them to be browsing without control on the net. An 8-year-old child knowing everything he can find, reading, seeing, and or listening, but that's nothing. The children what are exposed on the cell all day, they become sedentary, which leads to obesity. As we said earlier, this technology makes life easier for us. And what is the problem that the new generation are born surrounded by so much technology? The constant use of this makes us accustomed to have everything so fast, in an easy and simple way, without having a minimum effort. But what happens when we don't have it? When something is not as fast as the internet, is something a little difficult. Some other negative effects is that children do not go out, or being addicted to the cell phone become less sociable people, because they do not interact with people constantly and affect them in such a way that in the future will have difficulties in making relationship or a socializing somewhere are all with the cell phone without crossing words or looks. But why do parents take care of the street children, the cows outside, and they are not to the slope of why they navigate through internet? It seems to me that it's a very bad idea to educate and custom children to bring this type of gadgets. To use it in a right way, I think it would be best to take some socks like cooling shells to be on the slope of what they do, create a way that only can be put to certain things, limit access, and more than anything to educate them that can live without. If not, as our parents, grandparents, or previous generation did to survive in their youth. Of course, there are completely different times, and things change. But I'm sure of something, that the best way to live things is experience them and being part of them, which before was also so. On the other completely different side, technology and science are grouped by the hand, helped us to increase the quality of life at the same time create invention to pollute less, but also at the same time to pollute more. The use of technology in adults has been a great tool for their work, for companies, for schools, and have taken a lot of profit. Technology today grows and progresses faster. Inventions are becoming more innovative and but at the forefront. As a conclusion, if the electronic are luxuries or needs, it varies greatly in the context of how you want to see it, what use they give you, how much use you give, among other factors. I get to a critical point that at an early age, if it is completely wrong, but after a certain age, I believe and I think it is necessary to a certain extent. In my point of view, for children, there are simply luxuries, and for adults, it depends on the case. If it is for the job, it is necessary. But if you really use it for something that is not work, it is also a luxury. It seems to me that today the technology is creating a very bad habit in the new generation and can have a strong impact on the future for those who use them constantly. But more than anything, in the new generation that will come later. It is fair to think that will be a world where advanced entertainment with ability to the thing is a minimum. That people do not know how to solve problems, and that is when instead of being involving, we will be doing the opposite. So do not use technology from an early age. Live life from outside. We have to learn to be more independent and not to be served to use these technologies. Time is not returning, and when you regret having spent great time in these technologies will be too late.